It all started 49 years ago. In 1971, in the small town of Belmez de la Moraleda in Spain's Andalusia province of Andalusia, home to 2,000 people, events that would dominate the news for years to come began to unfold. One evening, Maria and Juan encounter a stain that suddenly appears on the concrete floor of their kitchen. The couple ignores the situation, but the next evening they see that the same stain has taken the shape of a face. Maria tries to wipe the stain off but fails. The face is just there. Her husband decides to tear up the floor completely and then pour new concrete in its place. For 1 week nothing happens, but at the end of the week the face reappears. The whole of the already small town hears about it. Everyday neighbors come to investigate this strange phenomenon. As one of the 20th century's most observed phenomena, the family's fame gradually spreads beyond the town. Horrified by the situation, the family decides to tear up the floor again. However, the authorities refuse to allow them to do so and say that that part of the floor will be investigated. That section is removed from the floor and taken away by the authorities. Meanwhile, other investigations continue on the floor of the house and a shocking discovery is made deep inside. In the lower parts of the house, many skeletons from the 1200s are found, many of them without heads. These skeletons are exhumed and buried in a cemetery. The floor of the house is restored and the work is finished. After a short time, the faces reappear. As the fame of the case grows, priests, journalists and paranormal investigators from all over the world flock to the town. These people, who have seen the phenomenon with their own eyes, cannot come up with an explanation. German researcher Hans Bender declared the phenomenon as the most important paranormal event of the 20th century. During this time, the faces in Bélmez were becoming clearer and their expressions softer, as if they were getting younger. This change was confirmed not only by the two professors but also by their assistants and psychology students. The expressions of the facial features in the pictures also seemed to change according to the people looking at them. Allegedly, these enigmatic faces looked at some smiling, some angry, some mischievous, as if they understood the feelings of the onlookers. In addition, they looked at Miguel in a very hostile and angry manner, the reason being that Miguel had smashed the faces with a sledgehammer. Maria, on the other hand, was looked at with a much sadder expression, as if apologizing for the mayhem they had caused. Later on, the research was stepped up. Under the supervision of Professor Bender, the investigating TV crew, the notary and the household, the kitchen floor was divided into sections, each large enough to cover several of the paintings in full, and careful photographs and films were taken of the faces in each section. Each section of floor was then plastered with a thin layer of plaster. Then, under the supervision of the notary, the room was plastered with a layer of special plaster and the windows were sealed. Police guards were posted at the door of the room and under the window for 24 hours and the room was closed for 3 months. After 3 months, when the kitchen was unsealed in the presence of all concerned, the pictures became even clearer. Meanwhile, a new incident brought the investigation into the family home to a new level. According to Bender, he was bent over in the kitchen examining a painting when he felt a hand poke him in the back of the neck. This happened 4 times in a row, and each time Bender turned around and suddenly felt a shadow disappear. Shocked and impressed, Bender decided to investigate further. All kinds of necessary investigations such as radioactivity, organic and synthetic compounds, X-rays, sound monitoring and diagramming experiments, picture taking and research under ultraviolet and infrared rays were carried out on the whole house, but no sign of a supernatural being was found. Later, many scientific explanations were attempted. It is thought that these facial markings are the result of chemicals on the surface reacting to light, but this claim cannot be proven. Paranormal researchers believe that these faces are the physical manifestation of Maria's thoughts and feelings. They state that these faces are shaped according to Maria's mood, wishes and thoughts. The fact that the faces do not appear when Maria is not at home seems to support this claim of paranormal investigators. In 2004, Maria dies at the age of 85. With her death, many people thought that the spots would no longer appear. Nevertheless, the faces continue to appear, but with completely different faces. When the case became popular again, the Spanish media denied it, saying that no new faces had appeared and that the researcher, Pedro Amaros, was lying. Let's go behind the scenes of this strange phenomenon. Although faces have been appearing in the house for years and tourists have been flocking to the house, the mystery has already been solved by the authorities. However, this solution will not be as interesting as the case itself, as there has been no decrease in tourist activity over the years. According to the authorities, what really happened was a plot by Diego, the son of the house. He wanted to gain fame by attracting attention. It is not known if his parents were involved in the plan, but after a while the family started charging tourists who came to see the house. It was found that the faces were drawn on the concrete floor first with paints and then with the help of acid. To summarize, the most paranormal event of the 20th century managed to attract people's attention for years, despite the fact that it was not paranormal at all and that it had been clarified. What can we say? Man is really a strange being.